This is a journey into sound.
Welcome to the Beatbox Experience with
the Beatbox Collective.
The Beatbox Collective.
The Beatbox Collective, the 2015 official World Beatbox Champions. I'm Basics, and this is
MC Zany, and I'm passing it to...
And I'm Hobbit.
We're going to take you on an adventure of the voice and the imagination, using beatboxing as your vehicle. Because we believe every sound is a good sound. Because every sound, natural, like a... or digital, like a... you can recreate with the human anatomy, all for free, no electricity, and no evil. Because every sound, put into a mathematical formula, equals music. Ding! For example, you've got your teeth. So simply, you can go... Your dentist doesn't advise it, and neither does your mum. But what I'm going to show you now is the fastest teeth in the world. Here we go. The fastest teeth in the world. But that's just the teeth. With the teeth, the tongue, and the mouth, you can go... and we call that the click roll. But with the teeth, the tongue, the mouth, the nose, and the throat, all together it sounds a little bit like this. And put it on the brakes in the mix. hopefully you all understand a bit about beatboxing. But it's not necessarily just a hip-hop thing. It is any influence you've ever had in your life. Okay, you own your instruments. You are your instruments. And I'm just going to do a few songs, a bit of rock and roll, a bit of house music, and maybe something you might want to sing along to. Remember, it's a two-way thing, and the energy you bring. Push peep and just punch peep until I patch the pipe. Spread his back spun. Puts the beans, the 10 pence, the butts, the beans, the 10 pills, I bets the pipe. Spread his back spun. Spread his back spun. Now, I did say it's all about using the human anatomy, even if it looks incredibly silly. Ow. Oh, I did say it's a two-way thing. Any energy you bring, but this is just a test of your singing ability. I see trees of green, red roses too, Poppy and too, Poppy and you. But I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hopefully you all got involved, and you get 10 points for singing along.
1, 2, 3, 4 for hit it, hip, 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 hit it, hip, 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 hit it, hip, 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 hip. Let's go.
drums are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Traveled the world and the seven seas. Everybody's drums are
So before we go into teaching you all of the sounds, you have to make sure our instrument is warmed up. So this is all of our body, all of our face, and everything that we use to beatbox. So I want everybody now is to just shake their body, give it a nice little shake, shake your arms, shake your legs, stop. Nice. We want to get all our face muscles all nice and warmed up. So give it a nice massage, all these intricate muscles on the side here. Yeah, that's it. Open your mouth, nice and wide. And give it a nice chew. That's it. All these muscles here are very important. And one muscle which people don't really know about is the tongue root, which is under your chin. And it's a very, very important muscle for singers and beatboxers, and it gets a lot of tension. So what you want to do is get your thumb, push it underneath, give your mouth open like push it and release. Push and release, and you can feel that blood flow really get back to that muscle there, and it's very important to make sure our instrument is nice, fully warmed up. And yeah, that is a very basic warm-up.
Very simply, we're going to teach you the first 3 sounds of beatboxing. Okay, remember, you own your instrument, so you can make it sound as big and as small as you like. I'm going to teach you the first sound, which is the kick drum. Now, if you raise your fist like this, and on the count of 3, I want you to put a bit of pressure on the front of your mouth and go. On the count of 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. And again, repeat after me. And. Congratulations, that was some German techno.
So, the second sound we are going to teach is the easiest sound in the beatboxing vocabulary. It is called the hi-hat, and it's literally the letter T. So we want a nice, short and sharp T like this. So everybody repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. So now let's try a few in succession. So... And that is the hi-hat.
And lastly, the snare drum. Now, there are many different snare drums in the beatbox world, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to teach you the K snare. Now, for this, all you have to say is the letter K, and you go K. Okay, so repeat after me. K, 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 K. Nice.
And now, we're going to take you all the way from level 1 right the way through to level 33.333 recurring times. Man, have your first thought of the answer is Gibraltar. Here we go. We'll start easy. I'll say the phrase, then I'll raise my hand, and you repeat. Here we go.
bow wow k, bow wow k.
1, 2.
And that's just one type of kick, one type of hi-hat, and one type of snare. But there are so many different variables. For example, bass lines. So for bass lines, it's very simple. There is so many different ways you can do it. You can hum, you can put melodies in it, however you like. But we do a bass sound, which is known as the PFFFFFFFFFFT bass, which simply translates as. I'll get the second one better. Okay, so that sound is your lips rubbing together and resonating, okay? And the tighter they are, the higher the sound. So the tighter with a, or looser with a, is a deeper sound. Now I've got a bass that I do, same technique, but on the side of my mouth, okay? And I go, now it's taken many years for me to get that tight on that side. And of course doing it on the left hand side of my mouth, going, you can see I don't have as much control. Now that's because you've built up your muscle memory in the place where you feel most comfortable. So it's all about exploring the different cavities of your mouth.
A bass sound which I use a lot is the growl bass, which sounds like this. And as you can see, it sounds very raspy and growly, deep sound, and it comes from the back of my throat. And a way to explain this is if you go to cough, where your cough sound is coming from, the contact point is at the back of the throat, and that's where I'm getting the sound. So that and if you kind of play with the shape of your mouth, that you'll get the different formant sounds. So it's the and that is the growl bass.
Okay, and for my bass line, I do it a bit different. I use part in the back of your throat called your uvula, which is essentially what you use when you're gargling in the morning when you brush your teeth. And I use that, and I basically tighten it up a bit more and add a bass note onto it by humming. So, and I add, and when you tighten that up, you get a nice bass sound. So it goes, and similar to MC Zanies, if you change the shape of your mouth and how you move your mouth, you can have different sounds and different ways of doing it. So, and also you can change the pitch of your hum, and therefore you get a different bass line. So you can go really high or really low. And again, you can play with that going. And similar to bass 6, I also use my lips to do lip oscillation and get a really high sound by tightening your lips, like, and again, loosen them. And you can really play with that and get some really nice tones. So you can, a routine that I do uses both. So you go, and all I'm doing there is changing from a looser lip to a tighter lip. It's great fun.
But also, anything you do out, you could do in. So if I went inwards, it's a, okay, like going, okay, now you try. So growing up, we didn't have the internet, and we all just had music and funny impressions of TV shows. But there was one guy called Michael Winslow from Police Academy. That's the guy from Police Academy, if you didn't know his real name, okay? And he did this amazing thing where it's like doing two things at the same time. It's like patting your stomach and rubbing your head, okay? Or vice versa. So what this is, he's basically taking a high sound like a and mixing it with a low sound to get this electric guitar. And for an extra distortion effect, A little extra saliva makes it nice little crunchy sound. Here we go. And there you go, the electric guitar.
A very good sound effect I like doing is the siren sound, which sounds like this. It's a very digital sounding sound. So the way I'd explain to do this is if everybody hum in their falsetto voice like this. If you put your finger under your nose, you can feel the warm air, which shows us a lot of the air is coming out of our nose. Now, whilst doing this, if you want to put your front two teeth on the inside of your bottom lip like this, and say the word nerve, which puts your mouth at the position on the when you finish saying the word like this, nerve, and now hum again. If you can see the position of my teeth on the inside of your bottom lip, it will start to resonate on your lips. It's like the paper comb trick you used to do in physics. So you want to slowly release the teeth from your lip to find the positioning. So listen if you can see the change in pitch, in sound, sorry. Did you hear it change? I'll do it again. And that is the siren sound. And you can variate that sound a lot. So if I put the pitch and go, it goes. If I go down in pitch, it will go. If I put a nunga behind it, it sounds like this. So there's various ways you can change that sound, and you can find it within your own instrument, and that is the siren.
Tube and throat singing, which is actually, it all comes from your diaphragm. Okay, any singers on this, you push from your diaphragm, and it goes right through your neck, and you channel it with your tongue, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me harmonise with myself. Here we go. Tube and throat singing.
One of my favourite sounds that I like to do within the Beatbox Collective is the trumpet, or the mouth trumpet, however you like to call it. For this, you can use either side of your mouth. Some people use the right, some people use the middle. I use a combination of the middle and my left side. And all I'm doing is singing a note, so na 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 na. And then with my lips, I'm closing them a bit, but letting a little pocket of air out, so it becomes. And then I use my tongue to change the intonation of it, and then you can get a faster sound, so you can go. And you can really play with that and change the tone and the pitch and how loud you're going or how quiet you're going. So you could go. And another variation of this that I do, shout out to Tobias Hug for he kind of mastered this sound. It's called the mute trumpet, which is basically in the real world, when you have a trumpet and you put the mute on the end, it changes from a to a. And to make that sound, all I'm doing is really tightening my vocal cords and my throat muscles, I guess, and pushing the sound out, so it becomes, instead of just really tightening them, and you again change the shape of your mouth, and you can get different sounds.
So lots of people always ask about the scratch. Now the scratch, it's so simple. Imagine even the simplest of words, like, you know, when a computer comes up, it goes boom, error. Just say error, error, error. Now start putting an angle on your neck and go like error, 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 and play around with one word. But of course, if you're saying something like everything, great. But if you were saying protractor, doesn't work. And that's where you swap the letters. So you've got protractor. So you're balancing around and juggling that first letter and just going projector. Okay, protractor, protector.
The way I do a vocal scratch is if I think of the word ah and make it really high pitch at the back of the throat like this, like a monkey almost, and go and you can change the shape of your mouth. So for example, if I had the word one, I would go wa-ah-one. But then if you pitch it with your voice, you can go wa-one, wa-one, wa-one. And if you mix it with the way you change your shape of your mouth, you get the different sounds. So wow, and if you pitch it wow, and you can change this with any kind of word. So two wouldn't be wa-two, it starts with the letter T, so it'll be ta-two, ta-two, and you can change it with the words wiki and error. So one error, one two, and that is my vocal scratch.
And other words you can use with vocal scratching are words like irida, igida, abada. It's a bit like drum and bass freestyling. So you can go using the same techniques as Zany and Basics, and you can really play around with discovering different words and listen to DJs and copy the way that they scratch is a great tip. Another vocal scratch you can do is using your hand as well as your mouth. So there's a lot of variations of doing this. For me, I use my index finger. I put it to my lips and then sucking the air around the side so it becomes... And it's all about finding the sweet spot. Once you get it, you can kind of do it with any finger. And some people use their thumb, some people use different bits. But when you get it, use that along with your tongue, and you can... And to stop the sound, I'm moving my tongue forward, so I'm going... And then you can go... And that's called the crab scratch.
So there you have it. Some simple sounds, some basic sounds, but it's up to you to find out what your sound is. We're the Beatbox Collective. Thanks so much for tuning in. All the information is on www.thebeatboxcollective.com. See you on the internet. Bye.
Well, cheers to you all.
I think it's done. There's none left. It's finished. Oh. Oh, it's cold. Fresh. Oh.
Tastes like chicken.
Mm. 15, love. Blastery. Rum shack. Tell the knife. Watch out!
Into the weekend, so please up on your feet and let's break health and safety. Here we go.
Let's go!
Thank you one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow us on the Instagram, the Facebook, wherever the internet. You just type the Beatbox Collective. Are we ready for one more drop? BAC, make some noise!
Bring it on, 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 bring it on back.
We drop it like this.
You got to show me. You got to show me. You got to show me.
I want your body, everybody wants your body, so let's jack. I want your body, everybody wants your body, so let's jack. I want your body, everybody wants your body, so let's jack. I want your body, everybody wants your body, so let's jack.
You got to show me.